Good evening, one and all, and welcome to Mass Radio's What's the Big Dyl with me, Dylan Foreman, my co-host, Zachary Goff, a.k.a. Zach Goff, and welcome back, Sarah Cornell Meyer, who was out last week with homework or sickness. It was sickness. The flu. And the flu's been going around.
I was dead to the world. Zach saw
To
me,
the world?
actually.
Yeah.
And I had, it was,
What-
it was rough.
What'd you look like, Zach? Like death?
Very tired.
Yeah. Tired's probably the best way to describe it. I might have looked the same.
No, I had like
Probably not the
massive
same.
dark circles. I pointed them out
Thanks,
to Zach and his girlfriend, Kate.
Yeah.
I keep running into her.
Did you
everywhere.
look like Emperor Palpatine?
My skin has less
Like-
wrinkles.
That's good.
So.
Oh, were you talking like episode 3 Emperor Palpatine or like episode 6 where he's just like...
Episode 3, he's a little less like whiter, but
Yeah.
he's way
His
uglier.
eyes, yeah.
And episode...
They really go hard with the makeup there.
Yeah. Oh, really badly. But episode 6, he is just literally the color of snow.
Yeah.
But, well, glad to have you back with us, Sarah.
It's nice. Well, it's nice to be back. I wish I was asleep right now, though. My roommate's already asleep.
It's kind of... I've asked multiple people to tune into the show, and they are like, I'm asleep. This is my bedtime. Come on.
I mean, J-Term did just...
Come on.
8:30.
Yeah.
Zach, how are you doing? You look a little sleepy just because we had a early morning practice this morning,
Yeah. And I
which
promise...
you almost were late for.
Well, question.
How was I almost late?
You showed up right before the team huddle, like 2 minutes before. I almost had to come get you.
Oh,
a second
because I
time.
was getting my like foot taped or whatever. So I was in the training room.
How
I was
early is this
almost
early
late.
morning practice?
6:15 practice, which means
It's
waking
not
up at like
early.
5:15.
It's not early.
Okay, coming from
How
a
is that-
former rower, I guess it's
Yeah,
not
you
that
know
early,
what?
but for basketball players, it's pretty early because we're not used to it. Anyways, welcome to What's the Big Dyl. A lot to talk about. This is our special edition Super Bowl episode where we will be talking about the Super Bowl and Tom Brady and the Eagles and predictions of what's going to happen this Sunday in Minnesota. You two have vastly different predictions than what I have.
Yeah.
Basically,
We also have
mostly because I
vastly
think you want to
different
spite me,
opinions on Tom
but
Brady.
Yeah.
fair enough. We will get to that, though, towards the end of our show. But for now, we're going to be talking about PLU sports. But before we get into that, we want to remind you to feel free to call into the show. We want to hear from our listeners throughout the show, so feel free to call in. The number to call is 253-535-7332. Once again, that's 253-535-7332. We want to hear from you
Close enough.
and figure out what you, the listener, want to hear on air. At least I didn't say 425
Like
this
last
time.
time.
Like my own
Well,
phone
Say
number.
that, you're gonna
Not
confuse the
last time.
listeners.
Anyways, starting off with PLU basketball. It's been a rough stretch for both the men and women's teams. Both had rough weekends. Each, though, had a game in which we could have won against a top 5 team. Both those scenarios did not play out. For the men's team, we played Whitworth on Friday, Whitman on Saturday. Whitworth is the number 4 team in the nation for men's Division 3. Zach, we were up 14 at halftime, playing really well, and gave
Yeah.
up 26 points.
Oof.
Killing it, shooting the ball really well with confidence, playing really well together, great team defense, great communication.
Yeah.
And then we came out of halftime and got ran. For like, I think we gave up 55 points in the second half. Ended up losing
Yeah.
69 to 81. So ended up losing by 12 when we were up 14 and a half.
Yeah. And we were up 20 with a few minutes to go. It's just they flipped the switch and started hitting a lot of shots, and
We got manhandled.
yeah, our defense didn't respond in the same way that maybe it would have like at the beginning of the game. But yeah, that was a tough game. They're both really good teams.
Yeah, I think Whitworth came out the second half and played the way they would normally play.
Yeah.
Whitworth is the
Definitely.
one with
Jared.
Christy.
Jared and Lester.
Yeah, so except Jordan Lester is out
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
for the year with a MCL.
MCL tear.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
done that. That's bad.
Yeah, no fun.
Feel bad. I actually very much enjoy Jordan. He's a nice guy. But that happened. Then Saturday, a lot uglier outcome as we turned the ball over 40 times. Our goal was 20.
Yeah.
We had 22 at half. The goal was 20 for the game, and we had 22 at half.
That's painful.
Just didn't handle the ball well. Kelton played well. Kelton has been playing well. Kelton Williams, our point guard, has been playing well. Very short.
Sure.
He's like
I can't
5'7",
get over that every time
5'7", 5'8", maybe.
Yeah.
A lot of big heart.
You see Kelton.
Small body, big heart.
Yeah.
You see Kelton starting next to like Leighton, and it's just it seems like one's in middle school, one's in college.
They're a foot apart. So
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, he plays big. He goes to the rim hard. He makes plays.
That's the thing. He gets to the paint. That's his game. He's getting to the paint and finishing through guys. So
he makes some incredible drives.
yeah.
He does.
Unbelievable.
I don't know how he finishes about 2/3 of his shots.
Yeah.
But
He does.
kudos
He
to him.
manages
He's got something figured out.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch.
It is.
And so you guys are returning to PLU this weekend,
We are.
Yes, we are.
thankfully, over J-term break.
So it's not gonna be. It's gonna be a limited crowd.
Yeah,
There are
that's
gonna be
all
like five people from the youths.
Yeah. Everyone's
That's okay.
Everyone's gonna try to take advantage of this little stretch of time where they get a break before spring semester starts, which
Yeah.
is when a lot of people's schedules ramp up.
That's fair.
They're not playing sports, especially.
yeah.
A lot of people taking those 16, 17 credits in the spring. Trying to make sure they're on
My
track to
spring's
graduate,
gonna
or
be
if you're a senior, just
Oh,
trying to get
no.
those last few classes out of the way so that you can
Yeah.
graduate, aka me. Except I have a really easy schedule. I don't want to like brag about it on air, so I won't.
No, go
Tell
for
you
it.
what
Go
it's-
for it.
One class Monday, Wednesday, I get Fridays off. And my capstone class on Thursday only meets 6 or 7 times.
That's not bad.
It's pretty.
Dang.
And I get to take relaxation techniques. The class I've been
Ooh.
waiting for since I was a freshman.
That'll be my schedule next year. Zach will
That's
get
funny.
this, but I only have to take like 12 credits my spring
That's
senior.
right, you're graduating early.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Dang.
But
Education.
Yeah.
point is, for senior weekend against George Fox on Friday and then Linfield on Saturday, probably won't be as big a crowd, but we get to honor our seniors, including me, Marcus Glenn,
Oh, of course.
and my roommate Sean McLaughlin, who's actually called into the show a few times. First to talk about Mello, Carmelo Anthony is second to talk about
Women's basketball.
PLU women's basketball
Yep.
when Kristen Sturdivant was on.
Yep.
This is true.
Zach, you're gonna miss me. All right.
Yeah, I'll miss you a little bit.
All right. Well, that response was not the way I thought it was gonna go. And with that, we'll transition.
Actually, Dylan, I'm gonna miss you so
Nope,
much.
nope.
I just
Moments past.
can't
Sarah,
think what it'll be like without you.
Sarah, will you miss me? Unlike Zach.
Yeah.
See,
Definitely.
I know she's lying because of the pitch in her voice, but at least she like answered quicker.
Yeah.
So
Nah,
Screw
we'll
you,
miss
Zach.
Well,
We'll
my
miss
answer
you.
was
screw you.
my answer was quick. It's just not the answer you wanted.
It wasn't quick. You kind of just like awkwardly smiled
yeah,
at me.
Yeah, just
And then
well,
made a
that's your
weird
answer.
moaning sound. Anyways, moving on to PLU women's basketball. Similar record, they're 5-14, 1-9 conference like us. Played the Wiz this weekend. They kind of had a flip-flop performance compared
Yes.
to us. Got whooped on Friday against Whitworth.
Way to
They
put it
did.
lightly. Yeah,
They
I
did.
mean, we did get whooped.
First
next
half,
day,
first
so,
half
I
was
mean-
pretty close, and the second half.
Oh yeah, the first half they're with them.
First half they've been good all season
Oh, yeah.
in almost
just
all their games,
Consistently really good team in the first half.
Yeah.
and then the third quarter everything just slips away, and then the fourth quarter they'll kind of rally back, but the third quarter is what sets
that
them
Whitman
down.
girls team had, or Whitworth girls team had that one really good
Oh my
point
gosh.
guard.
She's a freshman.
Yeah, she had like 22 points at halftime.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It was insane.
She's little too. She's very tiny.
yeah, she's like Kelton size.
Point guards.
but smaller,
Yeah,
because Kelton size for women's
would be a
basketball
little bigger,
like
yeah.
the normal size.
Yeah,
So she's probably like 5'3", 5'4".
something like that. Yeah, she's tiny.
She's so
she's
good.
she's a good player.
Anyways, that game got out of hand in the second half.
Yeah.
On Saturday, though, play number 6 in the nation, Whitman. and played really well. Lost 69-63, but they were in it to the very end. I think
They
it
were
was
tied at halftime.
Tied at
They were
halftime.
leading part of the first half.
Yeah, and then with only a minute left, it was like a 2-point game, and then
Yeah.
1 or 2 plays weren't made.
I remember us walking into the locker room at halftime, like we always do, of their game, and some of the guys, Whitman players, walking into the gym, and they're like, "Wait, isn't this girls' team like? Haven't they only won like half their games?" And I'm sitting like, "No, they won one conference game, and they're tied with you guys." I didn't say that, but it's just
That's what you're
it
thinking.
was, yeah, it was really funny. So
Man.
I did enjoy that, just a surprise. So.
No, it was cool that both of us almost captured an upset.
Almost.
On our like
Almost.
ranked team, a number 6 and number 4.
For us, almost is
I know.
basically a win.
It's kind of sad that that's
Yeah.
the standard. That's kind of like the level you base it off of. Like, how far were you from winning? Like, how close were you to not losing?
Yeah, it's true.
And that's
That's
a
just-
win in your book.
That's just kind of the way the season's been so far. So you gotta take the
Yeah.
little wins when you can't
Yeah.
get the
No, that's
Yeah.
fair.
the big dub.
That's fair.
Yeah.
In other PLU sporting news, PLU men and women's teams are both 4-0. They just celebrated their senior day away at UPS. So
This is for swimming because it cut out a little bit there.
what do you?
You didn't say swimming.
I said swimming.
You say this is for both men and women's teams.
Close enough.
I said swimming.
This is
Didn't hear me.
PLU swimming we're
Swimming.
talking about.
Swimming, yes.
Swimmingly.
Senior day. Another cool thing is the College Swimming and Diving Coaches Association of America. Wow, that was a mouthful.
CSCAA.
Yes.
That's nice.
But I had to tell him what it was first, otherwise, like, what does this
Yeah.
mean? Released its Scholar All-American teams on Monday, with both the men and women's teams earning the award for success in the pool and the classroom. This is the 7th year in a row that both teams have been on this list. Women's
Dang.
teams is over 3.5 GPA, and then the men's is like a 3.23.
Yeah.
Both.
Women was 3.55 and men's was 3.23.
Both
Nice.
very
Nice.
impressive. Can't really say that for our team. I think we're just
No.
above a 3.0.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'll take it.
that's passing.
Part of that's my fault. I have a very good first semester GPA.
It's
Zach,
alright, it's
you
your
wanted-
first semester of college.
What were your first semester grades?
I'm
Zach?
not talking about it.
What was it? Less than a 3? Don't say it was
I'm
less.
not talking about
No way was it less than a 3.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on. The first semester of college is hard as
Student
it is.
athlete, not athlete student, Zach.
it. Yeah, Dylan.
Get
shut
it
up.
through your head.
Well, Zach, you can always
No,
ask
it-
Dylan for tutoring and just make him do it now. Because
Yeah.
he said this.
Oh, if I was your
'Cause
tutor.
he's such a good student.
Oh,
athlete. Yeah,
I would
I'd
lead
have
you.
an
I would
even
lead you
worse.
astray so far.
I'd have an even worse GPA if you were my tutor.
No, I'll
'Cause
help
it'd
you.
be
I
a-
got you. I got you.
I'd sabotage you.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
because, not for
no,
lack
you
of
probably
trying.
actually try.
I would try to
Still.
sabotage you.
No, you try
No,
to
you
help.
I would try
try
very
to
hard.
help and sabotage because of your lack of ability to help is what
Yeah.
he's trying to say.
I know what he's trying to say, but I'm saying the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, Dylan.
Sure.
I would put very minimal effort into it, as long as, unless you paid me, then I'd take it seriously.
Yeah, and I'd still probably fail.
Well, then that would just be on you at that point.
Okay.
Sarah, what do we have coming up this weekend for spring sports?
So, we have some outdoor sports coming back into the season now that
Outdoor.
this bomb cyclone of a winter has started to pass.
Hasn't really been a bomb cyclone here.
It hailed today.
Yeah.
That's weird for Washington, okay?
All right.
Hey,
just
hey,
rain.
it's still
Not
cold
really, but
outside.
It's always
No,
cold in the
it's
winter.
Close enough.
That's
Dylan,
why it's winter.
Let me talk.
Then talk.
No, okay. So baseball and softball are coming back this weekend. Baseball's in like Texas and softball's down in California. So they're getting some reps in before the season actually starts back here. And I know women's tennis is playing this weekend. Not sure about men's, but I'm pretty sure they are as well. And
Nice.
track and field is also starting up soon enough. And we're definitely going to be talking about Brad and Edda, I'm sure, on this station because
yes.
they are going to be very successful this year, especially considering I think it's Brad's last,
He's a junior. I
Sport.
think
but he's a
he's graduating early.
3-year
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brad
So-
Hawkinson, who just won Northwest Conference cross country player of the year,
Which
and
was expected.
then expected the second year in a row, and then placed 7th in
Cross-country
nationals.
player. I played
Yeah.
cross country too.
Oh, don't be that guy. And then rowing is also going to start up, which is going to be a thing. My
Oh, and-
roommate's going to start getting up early.
Yeah, and apparently.
But apparently you don't mind early, because 5:15 is not that early. 6:15.
No, it's
is
not.
Yeah, so
No,
it should be
really.
fine
you know
then.
what?
4:30 when they wake up is normal. That's
Yeah,
fine.
it's normal. So
You're
Sarah,
just- you know
Sarah
what,
will
you're
wake
just
up with
better
a
than all of
smile.
us.
I know. I know that I'm better
She's
than
better
all
than
of you.
us,
I'm
Dylan.
sorry.
Clearly.
I'm sorry that hurts
And,
you
and
so
it's
much.
new to me that there's an intramural sport for what is it, like pool. I don't remember,
Oh.
like the pool donut water polo or whatever.
Yeah, pool floaty water polo or something like that.
Yeah,
Inner tube water polo.
Inner
yeah,
tube
inner
water
tube
polo,
water
yes.
polo for those that can't swim.
Or that just
Why did
don't
that
want
come
to.
up? What made you think of
I don't
this?
know. I saw the ad for intramurals today. I'm like, oh, that's a thing here.
Oh, you gotta do
That's
it. You gotta
cool.
try.
I kind of want to try actually. Anyway, so that's another spring sport. Not really. but-
We didn't really talk about rowing because we just went on a segue, but the rowing team is heading back to the water, defending Northwest Conference championship.
I would hope the water,
Champ-
as opposed to.
Dry land.
I
Yeah,
mean, they
it
do a
works in the
lot of
cartoon.
driving.
We are being very sassy right now, all of us. So
it
we're
works in
gonna
the
take
cartoons when they're just like in a rowboat. Kind of thing.
we're gonna take
Rowing
a
across the
quick
land.
break. We'll be back in
Tom and
just
Jerry.
a few minutes after some Earth, Wind, and Fire to talk briefly about what's been going on in Seattle sports. Don't go away. And welcome back to Mass Radio's What's the Big Deal with me, Dylan Foreman, Zach Goff, and Sarah Cornell Meyer, bringing you part 2 of this hour's action. We're talking Seattle sports now. Before we get going, just want to remind you to feel free to call into the show, 253-535-7332. Feel free to call in and talk about whatever is on your heart, mind, or soul, hopefully relating to sports and somewhat relevant to what we're talking about. We're leading off this segment with the Seahawks. Obviously, not a whole lot of news has breached since the end of the season, aside from personnel firings, including Darrell Bevell and Chris Richard, moving on from the Seahawks coaching staff. Zach, you want to give us a little update on what's going on within the organization at this point?
So right now, to my knowledge, I'm not aware of who they've hired as the replacements for Chris Richard and Darrell Bevell and stuff. But I'm not sure if they have name replacements. There's the Earl Thomas business. It's really a lot of it's just kind of like waiting to hear like what happens with this roster and like what they do with the running back situation, because they've got a couple guys that are free agents, some that are on contract they might cut.
Some people are injured. We don't know if they'll come back from them.
Yeah,
Like Cam Chancellor.
yeah, Averill. I think Cam will come back. I'm not sure about Averill.
April maybe.
I'm curious like who we cut, like who we get rid of, like Bennett, whether or not we keep him.
Might trade Sherm,
Yeah, I don't,
depending on
No.
how he
I
comes
don't-
back.
I don't think so.
No way.
I don't know.
If there's one
Depending on how
guy,
he comes back.
This is the guy
I
in a
think-
Patriots jersey. We don't listen to you.
Well, you should, because the Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl.
I feel like Sherm is like one of the people is like a shoo-in for somebody we're not gonna get rid of. Like we'll do everything in our power to hold on to him, just because like he seems like really established here, like wants to stay in Seattle. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he'll stay.
He has basically a guaranteed future as some part of the coaching staff for the Seahawks if for some reason he never ends up playing again.
You think?
Absolutely.
Guaranteed coaching staff position?
Maybe
Like
like
an assistant position?
for sure, but if you you see him on the sidelines and what he was doing during the end of the season when he was out, like
Well, and he's been it with.
Yeah, but that's more of a captain's role.
He's been at like
No,
Shaquille
but-
Griffin's like side through all of
Yeah.
it too, as he's like developed. Looking now, it sounds like Brian Schottenheimer is the new offensive coordinator, and Ken Norton Jr., the former linebacker coach, is the defensive coordinator.
I like the
So-
defensive coordinator pick.
Yeah.
I feel like
I mean,
someone within the
obviously-
organization who knows.
Obviously, he's doing something right with the linebackers we have. So
Exactly.
that's one of the things the Seahawks do well is working within the organization to find people who they can bring up to bigger roles.
oh yeah,
So keeping that kind of mentality in
and
cycling.
and like as a fan, like I have full faith in Pete Carroll and
The Schottenheimer
John
pick
Schneider and stuff.
is a
so
little
it's-
interesting, as he's not
Yeah.
really that interesting of a pick. Doesn't bring a whole lot of diversity or something
Yeah.
new to the offense. I think isn't he the son of Marty Schottenheimer, former
think-
coach from
I
the
think so,
Chargers?
actually.
Brilliant mind, offensive mind in that relation, but in terms of
Yeah.
what this offensive coordinator will bring to the new, trying to revamp an offense that has struggled.
So it
It'll
looks
be
like
interesting.
he's with a lot of NFL teams and stuff. He's been a quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator. So he was offensive coordinator for the Rams, 2012 to 2014. So that's maybe not the best part of his career, but
The Rams
he's
of the
he's
old.
been
of
with
old.
some successful teams. So hopefully that points us in the right direction.
Be interesting to see. I think
Yeah.
maybe it's less about coaching, more about player personnel that we can build off of, especially offensively, in terms of maybe one more O-line piece, a running back piece, and figure out your tight end
Yeah, I
situation.
don't know, maybe draft running back or like pick up one of the many free agents that'll be on the market, a cheaper one.
Definitely think we
We're not-
spent an entire season trying to work with the running backs we have. And
Yeah.
we all know how that turned
I
out.
don't-
So.
I mean, Chris Carson and Mike Davis have some potential, but I think like a legit 2-3 down back, a guy just to get the ball up the field, like we're gonna have to look elsewhere. I don't think our answer's in the organization, but
And there's only a handful of teams in this league that can truly pull off a multi-running back system. Patriots are one that comes up. The Saints with Alvin
Jeez.
Kamara and Mark Ingram is another one that you think of, but there's not many.
Eagles.
Eagles,
Eagles.
both in the Super Bowl, but it's
Think-
not. There's
Yeah.
not made. The point is not many teams do it because
Yeah,
not many teams can
successfully.
do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you really need very diverse running backs who can do very different things
Yeah.
in terms of more of a passing back and then a power back and then a first and second down running back. But we'll see how that turns out, and obviously we'll keep you updated as the weeks come by. And the season, next season officially starts March 14th is when all the, I think, trades start to go down officially. Because the Alex Smith actually isn't fully official yet, as it's not.
Jump
The-
ahead a little bigger.
Yeah. We'll give you a little tease, as we have a lot to talk about in the third section, so I thought I'd tease that section out a little bit. RIP to our main man, Tom. Just witnessed on Snapchat. He's a little distraught right now over
Yeah.
his Kansas City Chiefs and his prize quarterback, Alex Smith. Sending our condolences to him. Our thoughts are with him.
Oh man.
Wish him best of luck in the coming few days as he spirals in his life.
Anyway,
Moving on to something a little more positive, UW men's basketball.
Yeah. So, first of all, Washington State basketball, they're like 9-11 overall. They're not doing too hot. But UW, on the other hand, after the coaching change to Mike Hopkins and everything, and all those recruits leaving and stuff, they have a possibility. They have a shot at making the NCAA tournament, which they weren't even close last year. They were 9-22 last season, and right now they're 15-6 this year. A lot of like predictions made by like ESPN or other like news agencies, they've said that they're considered a bubble team. They have some important wins over Belmont, Kansas, and USC, which are all teams that'll make the tournament, very likely to anyway. And basically what a lot of these projections have them at is finishing around 22-10, which means they'd have to win like 7 of their next 10 games, and maybe pull off some games against other teams like Arizona that are projected to make the tournament as well.
Right.
Those would give them a very strong case for making the tournament. And I think one of the best projections I saw was like as high as like an 11 seed in the East, which is not bad, just considering like their whole situation this season. So
Oh yeah.
that's
Is
that's
ASU
really
still ranked?
exciting. I don't believe so, but they have to play both ASU and Arizona, and then both Oregon schools in the Pac-12. But it's looking pretty good with that record and stuff, because I mean, a Power 5 conference, and you probably send about 4 or 5 teams to the tournament then. So that's pretty good.
No, I mean they got some really good players right now that are playing really well. Young guys, and Jalen Noel, who is a Garfield guy from Garfield High School in Seattle.
Yep.
They originally had another Garfield recruit in Dejon Davis, except when the coaching change happened, he decommitted, and now he's actually the point guard for Stanford. He played well in a homecoming game when they beat UW last week. But Garfield, a bunch of local guys playing well. Matisse Thibault from Eastside Catholic.
Oh yeah, he's fun
Very
to watch.
athletic.
He's good. And
David Crisp.
Noah Dickerson.
Continuing inside.
to play well. He's
What a name.
he's a good big. that they
Oh,
have.
Dickerson. Yeah.
There you go.
Shout out to old PLU men's basketball coach. She actually wrote the seniors a really nice letter. He stuffed in our
that's right.
lockers during our last home game because he won't be there for senior night. And it was a long-winded handwritten letter. It was really sweet.
Right here.
Yeah.
It's
I could
good.
barely read his handwriting, but I could pick out some of the words, and I appreciated those words that I could read.
You're calling him out right now.
No, he's notorious for awful handwriting, but his messages are very sweet. He sends out handwritten letters to all the parents all the time.
It's thought that counts.
It is. Miss Steve Dixon, we hope the best for UW men's basketball. And with that, we're going to take another quick short break before we get into the meat of our show, talking about a lot of different things, namely the Super Bowl and predictions coming up on What's the Big Deal. Once again, if you want to call in, the number to call in is 253-535-7332. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Thank you. Quiet down, everyone. Quiet down. All right, sorry. I added a little clapping sound effect to give the illusion that we have a live in studio audience. Just
For
our
really
radio
well.
show.
just for
Oh, it's going again.
there it is.
There it is.
For in studio audience for our radio show.
Yeah,
That's nice.
that's how it works.
That happens.
Yeah.
All right.
Get
We're
some
not
special
wait,
guests.
Wait, we're not wait, don't tell me.
And first one to tweet at What's the Big Deal will get a special seat for our next broadcast.
Ooh.
So there's
Ooh.
that.
Ooh.
There's that.
Ooh.
You get to sit in
Exciting.
on some fun
If
action.
it's practical. If you're tweeting from like California, it may be a little harder.
Yeah.
We'll fly you out.
No, we don't.
We will
have the
fly
funds
you
to
out.
Do that. Don't make promises
I
you
know.
can't keep. Don't be Michael Scott.
I wonder.
Scott's
if we,
tot. Are you
I
talking about
wonder
Scott's
if we do
tots?
have any listeners from California.
Any of you guys have family down there?
You never know.
I don't have any family.
Anyways,
I don't know
we're
if we have
back
a lot of listeners in
There.
Parkland.
with the third and final segment and the most important segment for today's episode, as we are talking about the Super Bowl. Stop.
For those of you listening,
Let's go!
Zach and Dylan are having a fight because Zach
'Cause
does
Zach-
not want to hear this.
Zach's butt hurt.
Half the time I do it is just like, like devil's advocate, just to, like try and get him going,
No, I think he's butt hurt.
Nah, I mean,
Doesn't appreciate greatness if it slapped him in the face.
I mean, you currently have the minority pick
Oh,
for
this
this
is true.
Super Bowl, so
Can you
Hey,
imagine?
Vegas is on my
Can you
side.
imagine the show following the Super Bowl if like the Patriots end up winning?
Hey, I'm pretty humble.
I think I might be sick that.
I am a very
So it's
humble.
supposed to be him.
I'll do the show by myself, but I am a humble winner.
No.
Sore loser, but very humble winner.
I find that hard to believe.
All right. Well, for those
You
of you
wouldn't
out
know.
there
Anyway.
listening, this weekend is the Super Bowl.
No. Wait. I thought
That
it was,
it is.
I thought it was.
Zach, don't be sassy right now.
Okay.
Let's try to get through one segment without you sassing. Yes, Sarah.
Well, anyways,
The Super Bowl is this
Patriots
Sunday.
versus Eagles.
The battle of the 13-3 teams.
New England versus Philadelphia.
Tom Brady versus Nick Foles.
Well, when you say it like that,
And
Bill Belichick versus the Eagles head coach. Do you want to call
limits of knowledge.
It's
coming
Doug
out
Peterson.
Right now.
Doug Peterson's a good
the
coach.
Doug Peterson?
Well,
Fun fact, I have a bet with a guy in my house named Dylan DeWalt.
oh,
The other Dylan.
Oh man.
If Patriots
That's right,
win,
because he's a hardcore Eagles fan.
He's not really that hardcore. He doesn't really expect the Eagles to win. But if the Eagles win, I buy him a $30 full body massage, and then vice versa.
that's concerningly cheap.
$30 for a full body.
30 minutes. Yeah, it is actually really cheap, and it is a little skeptical going in, but
Maybe he's
Totally
just gonna
worth
give
it.
up.
It's a reputable
reputable. Yes.
establishment. Okay.
Yes.
May-
The
Okay.
person didn't
maybe-
say a word when
Maybe
she
Dylan
walked
will
in.
just give it to him himself.
Whoa. No. Won't be doing that.
Nope.
That's
no,
weird.
No. All right.
All right. So we'll start with my pick on who I got. Come on, Zach. That's freshman humor right there. Come on.
Hey, we
Sure,
call them
you can
first
call it
Reel
years
it
whatever
in.
you
here.
wanna.
We
Reel
call
it
them
in.
first years here.
Yeah, I'm
First-
offended.
There he goes with the sass again.
You hurt my feelings.
Good.
Are you gonna apologize?
Nope.
I'm gonna report him.
I'm gonna instead do it. Start with my pick. Patriots
Said that with a
win
Straight face.
27 or 28. Eagles 20.
You gotta pick one. 27 or 28. You
No.
can't just say or.
No.
27 or 28 to 20.
It was 27 and a half to 19.25.
Well, the point spread is 4.5 points. So I'm going with 27 or 28.
Okay.
Zach's so cranky. If you guys want to call in
I mean, we're
just to send some
expecting you
good
to-
thoughts his way, he could use them
We're
right
just
now.
expecting you to make a decision. Like this whole idea is about
27
making
or
decisions.
28.
27 or 28. And the
Okay.
reason behind that, I think it's going to be a very close game within a one-score game because all the Super Bowls that Tom Brady has played in have been within at least 6 or 7 points. And because the Eagles are
Okay.
very heavily undervalued in this Super Bowl and heavily not favored, I think it'll be 7 or 8 points, a little bit higher than what previous Tom Brady Super Bowls have been.
1 point. 6 to 7. No.
No,
7 or
seriously.
8. Let's do it.
First Super Bowl, they beat the Rams 20-17, beat the Panthers 32-29, beat the Eagles 24-21, lost to the Giants 17-14, lost to the Giants 21-17. You want to finish them off?
Yeah. In the Patriots' other Super Bowls, they of course beat the Seahawks, 28-24.
We don't talk about that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna choose not to acknowledge that one. So they beat the Giants. Skip that one. Beat the Falcons in overtime, 34-28, and
We're still not
Dylan?
entirely sure where Dylan's going with this.
yeah.
Well, that point was just to show you how close of all the Super Bowls have been. Most of them have been within 3 points.
Okay.
And we have a caller, and
All right.
guess who it is?
Is it Dylan DeWalt?
Sean McLaughlin.
It is Sean McLaughlin. Sean, how are we doing today, buddy?
Doing great, Bill.
Sean, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Very good. What would you like to talk about today?
Just in regards to the Super Bowl, I want to know what you guys think are each team's biggest strengths and each team's biggest weaknesses going into the game.
Okay, I think Patriots' strengths are their consistency, their coaching, and Tom Brady. Their weaknesses, potentially their defense. On occasion, they've been playing very well of late. Their running game, occasionally. James White sometimes isn't as reliable with the ball as I would like him to be. And those is what I would think are the strengths and weaknesses of the Patriots. The Eagles, a lot of strengths. I think their running game, very balanced attack. Nick Foles has proven he's a pretty reputable quarterback. Their defense is probably their biggest strength, all across the board, very good. Weakness, I would say, being in this position, they haven't most of the players on their roster haven't been in a Super Bowl. Nick Foles obviously is a backup quarterback, so can he stack up under the bright lights? I think was the biggest weakness going into this game.
I agree with a lot of those. I'd say the Patriots, I think for sure their defense is going to be tested because like Nick Foles isn't like the most experienced, and like that's one of the weaknesses with the Eagles obviously is just their lack of experience, you know, like Super Bowl week and everything, and just, you know, focusing on the game itself. But just seeing like how this Patriots defense handles that offense, because they can be so good in the run game and their line is so solid, and you know Nick Foles has all that time to stand in the pocket, and I feel like it's really going to be the Patriots offense versus the Eagles defense, and that's kind of like the two that are going to win the game for them.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm going to just go against completely everything that Dylan said, and I think that the Patriots' weakness is their reliance on Tom Brady, and overall the fact that they put him so high on a pedestal that he has so far to fall, and this is a perfect opportunity for that to happen. And I mean, I would say that one of the Patriots' strengths is their coaching and the experience and the overall like strength of the program. But at the same time, I do think that they are a little overrated, and I think that can show.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, and so with the Eagles, I think one of their strengths is third down conversions. They showed it a lot in the Vikings game, and they're a very tenacious team. And I think one of their weaknesses is their lack of experience, but at the same time, that can be a strength because, you know, the world of sports is ever evolving, and bringing in new ideas and fresh faces and youth is always good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If Carson Wentz was playing, would the Eagles be favored? Because right now New England's favored by 4.5.
Ooh.
I think we aren't able to know that because of how much time has passed since he was in.
I think the point spread would be less, but I still think the Patriots would be favored probably by around 2.
I know it'd definitely be a lot closer.
Yeah, I think it'd be like a 2-point spread.
I would, if Wentz was playing, I'd say the Eagles, like, in my mind, like, I think they'd win for sure. Right now, I really want the Eagles to win. I'm not sure if they will.
Sean, who do you have?
I don't know.
I had the Patriots.
Patriots by how many?
I'll say like 7 or 8, honestly. I think
7
Close.
or 8.
they might break it open, you know? If they get off to a fast start, like if the Eagles start out with a couple of 3-and-outs and the Patriots go and score, and they're up big in the first quarter, I think it might be over then. The Patriots can just cruise. They know how to win the game, and the Eagles might be in panic mode from the start. But I think it'll be a close game overall.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think all of us can agree we'll be within
It will be close.
one score.
Yes.
Whether it's a touchdown or a
that
field
first
goal.
quarter and the first half as a whole is going to be very important due to the lack of inexperience and how the Patriots are able to handle late game situations and stuff.
Also, in like championship games, there's always some kind of crazy play, like Chicago Bears open up versus the Colts way back with Devin Hester taking the opening kick back.
Mm-hmm.
Seahawks had Percy Harvin open the second half with that kick.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants, Eli Manning threw to, I don't know what his name was, but the guy caught it on his helmet.
Yeah.
Oh, David
yes.
Tyree.
Yeah.
Never account for those type of plays.
Yeah, like Edelman had that catch last year. Like, there's always like a play that kind of like defines the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Sean, we appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, Thank you.
for the third time.
Yep.
You're the man.
Thanks.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yeah, I did like that point too.
There, Sean McLaughlin.
Oh yeah, for
Gotta
sure.
gotta love good old Sean.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what that like game-defining moment will be,
Yeah.
and which team it'll be for.
Yeah.
'cause
And
that is a big deal.
that's totally the point, like the opportunity and the tipping point where the underdog team can come out on top. And that's what I have my fingers crossed for, because I don't know if you guys know Rob Thompson.
Oh, I
Works
love
up in the
Rob
office suite.
Thompson.
In terms of in charge of intramurals and kind of like
Yeah.
that area, and he is one of the most obnoxious Patriots fans you will meet.
Well, he's a
Even-
Boston guy.
even
He's a
more
Boston
than-
guy.
Yeah, even more
Oh,
than Dylan.
even
He
more
has
than
been
Dylan.
wearing his Patriots
Dang.
gear, and he will be all week.
Oh man.
He's already planning. He's like flying out somewhere to go watch the game with friends, and like
Oh, I love Rob.
he talked to me about it like 6 times today because he knows that I'm supporting the Eagles in this endeavor,
Oh yeah.
and I just want
Just
the
wait.
Eagles to win in spite.
So you don't have to hear it after. Yeah,
Yeah.
because when Patriots fans win, they're not always nice.
Well, Sarah, you're really
We'll
gonna
see.
hate the next topic. What we're talking about.
Oh, don't worry, I brought my own stuff here.
We're talking about Tom versus Time, the new docuseries on Facebook Watch, talking about how Tom Brady has been able to play and explaining his longevity in the league at 40 years old is still an MVP candidate. And you just listen to the trailer here. Gives me goosebumps every time.
Let's go.
You only have so much energy. And the clock's ticking on all of us. If you're going to compete against me, you better be willing to give up your life. Because I'm giving up mine.
Brady, end zone touchdown.
Father Time is undefeated.
If he slips or doesn't look the same way coming out of the gate in 2017, what are we talking about?
There's a warrior spirit about me. I'm always in competition
Warrior
with
spirit.
myself.
I don't think I've ever met anyone that loves to do something as much as he loves football.
You don't want to make sacrifices for your sport, but when you have a family, you do. When I see myself out there, I feel like, man, I still do this and I do it better than I've ever done it. So why should I stop?
I think an important thing to note here is that this is a Facebook Watch production. What is that?
It's
I will say, actually, I hadn't heard it. Like,
I had no
It's
It
basically
is,
like
it sounds
Facebook is actually expanding where you can. They now have like little miniseries, like Ball in the Family is on Facebook.
So
Okay.
is it kind of like YouTube Red or like Netflix
Yeah.
original series, but not?
Yeah, it's just a different
Well
medium to watch.
Mm.
They're just kind of expanding on how they do it. But I think it's interesting, partly because I don't think Tom Brady has ever really opened up to the media about his life, really like, in depth about how he goes about. I mean, he's not in the news for things that go on behind the scenes. Obviously, he was in the news for Deflategate
Yeah,
and
so
thing
that
like that.
happened- that happened
And what
behind
he
the
does on the
scenes.
field, but off the field is private life. We don't really get an in-depth look into
Deflategate was
that.
behind the scenes.
So far, he doesn't have any
Positives
non-football
behind the
related
scenes.
scandals. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying we don't know what he does like his spare. Like other people will post on Instagram of them, work at like James Harrison or people of that
Yeah.
nature that are very active on social media, or exactly what their daily routine is and
Yeah.
things of that nature. And same thing with people like Bill Belichick. You just don't know. They don't open up to the media as much as
Yeah,
for being considered the greatest of all time in football.
sure.
So I think it's interesting. It's worth a good watch. I've already watched just the first 3 episodes. I recommend you two
Oh
watch
my
it.
goodness. I have.
You
so
actually
many better
get a
things to
good
do with
laugh
my time.
because it shows like images of him like working out and stuff, and it's laughable.
Yeah, but you can like go watch Whose Line Is It Anyway on YouTube and laugh at that, and not have to look at Tom Brady.
Or you could
But
just
he's
watch his
beautiful,
his
so-
combine tape. That's pretty laughable.
It is very laughable, but it's also very motivating. Both those things.
Yeah.
So actually, quickly give us your scores for the Super Bowl. We
Oh,
skipped
yeah.
over that really
Oh,
quick.
yes, yes.
All right, mine. I've got Patriots 27, Eagles 37. I really want the Eagles to win, and I think that if they can come out of the gate strong, I mean, both teams have scored pretty high totals all year with and without Wentz for the Eagles. Some of the games I pointed out with Wentz, I mean, the Eagles beat the Panthers, Chiefs, and Rams, which are all really good teams, but without them, of course, in the playoffs, they blew out the Vikings, and they beat the Falcons, and the Falcons started to become one of the better teams in the NFL as they grew on throughout the season. So it's really encouraging with the whole, it's just Nick Foles argument. And the Vikings, they scored, I think it was like 38 points. So that was against a good defense. So it's really going to be a lot of like tempo back and forth. So we'll see.
Okay, and so for my scores, I have Patriots 28, Eagles 35. And I know those are both round multiples of 7, but I am predicting at least one field goal and either a 2-point conversion or a safety or something that's just like really
Irregular.
Something irregular that adds up and makes it even for some weird reason.
Yeah.
Because, Super Bowls are always a little different. So
Okay.
we'll see.
I like it.
So, with that, make sure tweet at What's the Big Dyl 1 your Super Bowl predictions. We want to know who you think is going to win, what the score will be, how it will happen. Be interesting to hear your thoughts. Maybe call in before the show ends to give us your quick predictions. We're going to move on now to NBA news, and it's kind of been overshadowed a little bit this week with all the Super Bowl talk and getting ready for Sunday. But a lot of stuff has been going on in professional basketball as Blake Griffin was traded to the Pistons. Clippers get Avery Bradley, Tobias Harris, and Boban Marjanovic. And a first and second round pick. Pistons get Blake Griffin, Willie Reed, and Bryce Johnson.
Sarah has something real quick.
Sorry, I just got a quick Twitter update from a poll that was put up from our account earlier this morning, and currently our listeners have the Eagles winning the Super Bowl.
Do they really?
That's right, 53 to 47% Eagles winning.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway,
A lot of Eagles fans on the West Coast. Makes sense.
Anyway, so with this trade, we want to talk about who won this trade.
I think the Clippers are rebuilding.
I think the only reason the Clippers win this trade is because of the picks they get. Because to me, like with a trade, like I'm thinking like both these teams, I mean, the Pistons are pretty good this year. They've kind of slid.
They started off strong now.
They started off really strong. They've slid lately. And the Clippers are just bad. But
I would say they're bad. They're very underperforming.
yeah, I mean, outside of Lou Williams, who's like a borderline all-star.
And Milos Teodosic.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But, like...
But yes, they're not as good as
you
the
want to
Western
strengthen positions maybe that you lack in. And, the Pistons traded Blake Griffin, who's a big. And they already have... I mean, they play different positions.
Well, they got two
Drummond,
all-stars,
who's big.
a 4 and a 5.
Yeah.
But the rest of their team is kind of the Luke Kennard, Reggie Jackson. You don't have Avery Bradley or Tobias Harris, two really good role players. They're not all-stars.
And Tobias Harris was basically the number 2 player on the Pistons behind all-star Drummond. But then, and then the Clippers get Avery Bradley, Tobias Harris, and I mean, Marjanovic is a big, but Marjanovic is like a role player.
He's like, isn't he like 7'4", 7'5"?
I don't know. He's one of the tallest guys in the league. But and the Clippers already have like Lou Williams, like that's like their best player, so they're strengthening an already strong position. So I mean, I know like it's a 4 and a 5 or like a 1 and a 2 kind of difference, but I don't know. I think the Clippers just win because they get a first and second round pick. I think it's really the biggest thing. So, I don't know. I feel like there could have been better trades or like, I don't know. That's just my opinion. But
in other NBA news, we got DeMarcus Cousins out for the year with torn Achilles tendon, the Kobe injury.
Yeah, that was such a weird way. Like he just kind of like landed.
He's a big
weird.
dude. So it really doesn't take much.
Yeah,
that
he just
thing
kind of
to
like went
rupture.
after. He missed a free throw, went after his own ball, like right next to the sideline, and kind of just like landed on his foot with it, kind of like, I don't know, like his toes pulled towards his. I don't know. It was just kind of weird. And he just kind of fell, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So
It's crazy how easily that can happen.
Just had a rough little mental moment when you guys said he pulled a Kobe, and first thing that went through my mind was Kobe, and that's gonna be the new thing instead of saying it when someone makes a basket.
Oh, I get.
Boogie.
When like people at the YMCA will be like Kobe, and they'll shoot some crazy shot that
Or
has no
just
chance of going in.
Throw trash into the
Yeah, they
basket.
throw some
Garbage, yeah.
can and make it.
Kobe. So, but with this Boogie injury, a lot of downside for the Pelicans moving forward.
Yeah.
As now there's a bunch of Anthony Davis trade talks. I think multiple teams are interested, and why wouldn't they
Yeah.
be? He's Anthony Davis, starter in the upcoming All-Star game.
And
So-
Boogie does a lot for that Pelicans team. Like, he's become a really good passer.
They're a two-headed
Even-
monster.
Even every once in a while brings the ball up, I believe.
Yeah.
Like, he can do a lot.
Anthony Davis and Boogie, two-headed monster.
Oh, I thought you just called one of them a two-headed monster. And I was like,
I mean, you call Boogie that. I mean, he not a lot.
He's
Not
the
a lot of
size of
centers.
two people.
Yeah.
So.
He's a center that has, I guess you argue, some guard skills. He can shoot the 3 well too, and not a lot of guys can do that at his size. So, sure. Either way.
So with the injury,
Anyway.
Boogie Cousins is out of the starting lineup for the All-Star team. Going to read you first Team LeBron. And this past week they drafted their All-Star teams.
Yeah.
So LeBron has Kyrie, KD, Anthony Davis, and Paul George will be replacing Boogie Cousins. That doesn't necessarily mean he'll be a starter, but
Yeah, I wonder who the starter will be then.
The reserves are LaMarcus Aldridge, Bradley Beal, Andre Drummond, and Paul George. Kevin Love is also now out with a broken hand, so he'll have to be replaced. Victor Oladipo, Kristaps Porzingis, John Wall is injured, so he is now out. And then Russell Westbrook round out that squad. And now then for Team Curry is obviously Steph Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo, DeMar DeRozan, Joel Embiid, and James Harden are your starters. Your reserves for Team Curry are Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, Al Horford, Damian Lillard, Kyle Lowry, Klay Thompson, and Karl Anthony Towns. So if I had to pick a team to win, I'd pick Team LeBron.
Yeah, that's who I've been leaning towards the whole time.
Curry's team is filled with shooters, not really necessarily.
That's funny. He just picked a bunch of shooters.
I mean, besides Giannis, but we all knew he was going to pick Giannis because
Doesn't want to get dunked on.
he doesn't want to get dunked on. But Team LeBron is stacked head to toe.
He also picks
no-brainer.
he also picks the 3 injured players.
True.
Kind of ironic.
But I
they
think
all
the
ended up on same
the
team.
alternates that we think are All-Star snubs
Oh.
are going to be
Yeah,
just fine.
yeah. Having Paul George instead. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the best defenders in the NBA right now. So
And then Lou Williams could replace Kevin Love.
I'd
hope
like
so.
to see that. That'd be cool. Well, but does it have to be a player from the East replacing?
I don't think
Kevin
it
Love?
doesn't. I don't think it has to this
okay.
year.
A lot of people are saying it should be Ben Simmons. I don't think. I don't know. My opinion, I don't think Ben Simmons is an all-star. I think it should be Kemba or Lou Williams first.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Mike D'Antoni for the Rockets is coaching Harden's team or Curry's team, and then Dwayne Casey, the Raptors coach, is coaching LeBron's team.
Mm-hmm. Not that the coaches really have that much
No, they just kind
power within an All-Star game. Like,
They
hey,
might
go out there
platform.
and yeah.
Go out there and play some basketball, guys.
I think last year in the mic'd Steve Kerr was mic'd up, and he's like, yeah, you're gonna pass to this guy, and then he's gonna shoot it, and then you're gonna pass to this guy next possession, he's gonna shoot it. It was like as a joke because he knew he was mic'd up. He's like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I have very little.
Well, I mean, yeah.
play
Remember when he talked
participation.
to us after that game? He's like, "How do you feel about Swaggy P's shot selection?" He's like, "If he was in college, probably bench him, but it's NBA, so he does his own thing."
And
That's
they go
awesome.
in.
Yeah, I
So.
love that guy.
Yeah. Quickly, as there are a few topics we're not going to be able to get to as we're running out of time here. Roger Federer wins his 20th Grand Slam this past week after winning the Australian Open at 36 years old. However, it is important to note Serena Williams has 23, and she won a couple of them, or at least one of them, while pregnant. So I think it's safe to say Roger Federer is the greatest male tennis player of all time, hands down. The closest person is Rafael Nadal with 16. Then Serena Williams has 23.
Blows him out of the water.
Blows him out of the water. And she's just a freak athlete all around. She could play multiple sports.
She's one.
Let's be real
heck of a
here.
tennis player. Yeah,
She could be a running back.
probably.
XFL.
XFL.
Serena Williams in XFL.
Oh man.
She could jump
You heard
right
it here
into the
first.
Seahawks.
Breaking news. Breaking fake news. Serena Williams, XFL. But seriously, she is a
Yeah,
beast.
she's an athlete.
I say we start that segment.
Well, that's all we got. Thanks for listening and tuning in to Mass Radio's What's the Big Deal. We'll be back next week, Tuesday at 9 p.m. Sarah, will you be here?
I will not.
You're two going to take advantage of your J-turn break?
I'm going home.
I don't blame you. Zach and I will be here, and maybe hopefully we'll get Tom Huddleston if he's
My replacement.
if he'll leave the house. I don't know.
if he's
we'll
not
be out
like
of the house.
mourning the death of Kansas City, Alex Smith.
And the Alex Smith trade,
Yeah.
as he's still pretty
Hey,
sad
I
about
mean,
that. That'll be a fun topic if he's on the
Redskins
show.
fan? No one wants to be a Redskins
No one wants to be a
fan
Redskins
right
fan.
now. Not right now.
Anyways, make sure to tweet us your thoughts for ideas, concerns, opinions, maybe about the Super Bowl. You've voted on who you think is going to win. What do you think the score is going to be? How do you think it's going to happen? Anything special do you think is going to happen? We want to know what you think. You can tweet at us and follow us at What's the Big Deal, and then just the number 1. On Twitter, you can follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel to listen to past episodes. Last 2 episodes are up on YouTube, so go give those a look. Thanks for listening, and have a great rest of your week.